Good morning. So we come together, our little crew here, to talk about an amazing medication. It's probably the best kept secret in the medical world today, and it's probably one of the biggest medications to come down the pike, as they say, in 50 years. Here's something that is reliable and with virtually no downside. Quite an unbelievable drug, and the medical groups have shown their appreciation by not believing it. What I wanted to do was to speak about some of the highlights that have emerged since the June 2005 conference that are worth noting. You know, there are a couple of large hurdles between what is received wisdom in the medical world and what LDN has as its working hypothesis. One of the big issues has been the idea that's spread amongst doctors and the lay public that autoimmune diseases are, of course, diseases where the immune system goes haywire. It's so strong, it's so over-aggressive that it breaks its bounds and starts attacking one's own tissues. There was, in the recent New England Journal of Medicine issue, a big piece on immune mechanisms. They never speak about what a controlling factor might be for the immune system. There's no real mention about the possibility that endorphins might be the major beneficial regulator of the immune system. That's not yet crept into, as I say, received wisdom. So here's this idea of an overstrong immune system, and the LDN hypothesis is, no. These are immunodeficiency diseases where the body doesn't really send the information appropriately that this immune system is attacking self. And if one can strengthen the immune system by upregulating the endorphins, as LDN appears to do, why, you've normalized the immune system, and it knows the difference. Two of the high points of this past year have been two scientific publications. Last June, there was a paper that appeared in the Annals of the New York Academy of Sciences. The whole issue was called Autoimmune Diseases and Treatment, and a group of researchers from Belgium published a paper within it called Premature Immunosenescence in Rheumatoid Arthritis and Multiple Sclerosis Patients. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever heard the word immunosenescence. It was a new one for me. But what they were saying was, they studied a reasonably large group of normal people. They studied people with rheumatoid arthritis, and they studied people with multiple sclerosis. And what they were doing was looking at immune markers of the strength of the immune system. It turned out that those who had the autoimmune diseases had immune systems that were very much like that of people who were extremely elderly. They had weak immune systems, which supports the LDN hypothesis. Then, much more recently, out of the BBC online health news about a month or two ago, came a notice that Dr. Anthony Siegel of the University College of London was publishing a piece on patients with Crohn's disease, another classic autoimmune disease. We're going to hear more of that today. What Siegel and his group found, and they measured a whole host of other immune markers, and found that the folks who had, a weakened immune system, not an overactive one as had been suspected, may cause the intestinal disorder Crohn's disease. So there we have three autoimmune diseases discussed within this past year, all of them showing weak immune systems and supporting the LDN hypothesis. I spoke within the past few weeks with Dr. Myra Gironi. It was she and Dr. Sacerdote in her group in Milan that did the very important work in 2003, I think they published, on how every category of multiple sclerosis was marked by low endorphins, which was, again, substantiating of the whole LDN hypothesis. And it was interesting when you look at the bar graphs to see that the more serious the category of MS, the lower the average endorphins were in those patients. At any rate, I asked Myra how things were coming along with the next step, which was going to be so promising in clinical research. She is planning a clinical trial for patients with multiple sclerosis using low-dose naltrexone and finally measuring endorphins throughout the study, before, during, and after. I also spoke this past week with Doctor of Public Health Marianne Richardson, who is Vice President on the board of the National Foundation on Alternative Medicine. She's just back from the African country of Mali. I believe she was there with Fiona Eberts, who also attended the 2005 conference. They went to Mali because maybe some of you remember Mr. Saini Nafo, who spoke at the conference, who has been pushing a trial for LDN for HIV/AIDS in Africa. Marianne spoke with Dr. Cater there, who is the principal investigator for the planned trial. The protocols are in place. There's a pilot trial with 3 arms that's planned, and there's a full-fledged clinical trial involving hundreds of people. And finally, I'm pleased to note that this past month saw the first published report describing a cancer patient for whom low-dose naltrexone was used as a principal treatment. The man in his 40s had been told by a major cancer center in the Southwest that there was no further active medical treatment available for his situation. Diagnosis: pancreatic cancer with multiple liver metastases. He had had chemotherapy, he had little response. He went to Dr. Burton Berkson and his colleagues who treated him since that time. Dr. Berkson is a big believer in antioxidants, and they treated him since that time with intravenous treatments of alpha-lipoic acid twice a week. But the main thing is that he was put on nightly low-dose naltrexone in the range of 3 to 4.5 milligrams every night. That was 2002. They reported this case at the start of 2006. This man is at work. He's had no further substantial progression of his tumor, and he's asymptomatic. Enough said. Thank you very much.